Republicans have won House majority, okay? Guess what they're going to do with that? I gave you a little bit of background on Jeffries, okay? You know what is to come for the Democratic Party, but that doesn't really matter because we all know who runs the country. It is the motherfucking Republican Party. So what are they doing with their newfound a little bit of just a tad bit of strength that they have now? What are they going to do with that? Huh? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to fucking show Hunter Biden's cock, okay, to every goddamn American. They're literally going to make you sit in one of those like clockwork orange style seats and open up your fucking eyeballs with pliers to force you to see Hunter Biden's fat fucking cock and any number of photos that are going to come out of these new investigations into Hunter Biden's laptop. Let's take a look, baby.
Begin, though, with a major shift in power on Capitol Hill. CBS News can now project the Republican Party has indeed secured the 218 seats needed to win the majority in the House, even though a number of races still have not been called yet. And today, current Speaker Nancy Pelosi is expected to make an announcement about her future plans. Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill following all of this. Nicole, everybody wants to know, what is Nancy Pelosi going to do? Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's a big question that will potentially be answered soon, but make no mistake, there will be divided government here in Congress, with Republicans now in charge of the House and Democrats in control of the Senate. Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who has been nominated to serve as House Speaker, declared it is official. Democrats' one-party rule is over. GOP party leaders have vowed that oversight of the Biden administration will be at the top of their agenda, including the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Let's go! New Benghazi, baby! Dude, I fucking love this. I love this. I love this, dude. Our 13 brave soldiers, baby.
And Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings. They also plan to look into the origins of COVID. McCarthy will have to contend with a smaller than...
Wait, hold up. Origins of COVID? That happened under Trump, didn't it? What does that even mean? What the fuck? They're going to be like, Joe Biden originated COVID, brother.
Expected Republican majority and a fractured conference. Several hardline conservatives have proposed rule changes that would chip away at his leadership, but McCarthy believes he will secure the votes he needs to become Speaker in January. Democrats also have decisions to make now that they will be in the minority. Speaker...
Won't this just drive even more moderates away? No chance anyone but Trump supporters want this shit. What? I mean, it's the MAGA dudes, but like, you know, Americans do still, especially like moderates, still love our troops. You know what I mean? They will fucking get on their hands and knees and suck off a troop unless they're homeless, in which case they will kill that homeless troop with a gun. But you know, moderates other than that are always like they love the dramatic posturing for the troops.
Nancy Pelosi has not said whether she will remain in leadership, but her office posted that the Speaker plans to address her future plans today. The Speaker has said that that home invasion attack on her husband will affect her decision. Gail?
Yeah, we're all waiting to hear. But, Nicole, the Democrats, they're saying we got to get some stuff done. We are hearing that the Senate moved forward with key pieces of legislation just yesterday that they say they need to get through before Democrats lose the House. What can you tell us about that?
Wait, what? You can also support them because you can recognize how they got fucked over? Yeah, we're not talking about that. You think... No, this guy in the chat said Republicans recognize how... Moderate Republicans recognize how the troops got fucked over. Bitch, they don't give a fuck, dude. They're like, oh, whatever, losers, win some wars first, okay? That's the take. That's literally here. That's the heart of America take. Okay. Yeah. We'll fucking do this to you when we see you in line in your fatigues for jalapeno poppers. Okay. Yeah. You'll get into the airplane first, but you know, you're on your own, bitch.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, protections for same-sex and interracial marriages could soon be codified into federal law after the legislation cleared a key procedural hurdle in the Senate Wednesday. 12 Republicans joined the entire Democratic caucus in voting to move the bill forward. Democrats have warned since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June that federal protections for such marriages could be at risk. President Biden welcomed the vote and urged Congress to send the bill to his desk. Lawmakers are also hoping to pass an elections reform bill that would prevent future presidential candidates from obstructing the electoral vote process.
I love that the Republicans are mad at this.
CNN.
It's like the one last fucking thing that the Democratic House is able to, or was able to put together, and the Senate is like pushing forward, and Republicans are still mad.
Projects that Republicans will win control of the U.S. House of Representatives, reclaiming a majority for the first time in 4 years. This is a major blow to Democrats as Republicans gain new power to potentially limit President Biden's agenda and to make crucial decisions about House investigations. Let's go to Manu Raju up on Capitol Hill. This is a major development right now. The Republicans take the majority in the House, Manu.
Yeah, and with that, the power of the committees and the power to set the agenda, which is why this is hugely significant. Even though it is not as big of a majority as Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader, had wanted. They had hoped that they would be in the 230-seat range, maybe even 240-seat range.
Why? Because I'll tell you why, baby. Okay? You know who's coming in hot, dude? You know who's coming in hot right now, dude? Ooh, the Republicans, baby, they're coming in hot. You know who's coming in hot? The motherfucking Freedom Caucus, baby. Let's go! Some of the most sweaty, gross, pedophilic libertarians you've seen in your goddamn life. Okay? People unironically named Jebediah are going to be popping off in Congress, baby. They're going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, you want to do spending on veterans? How about no spending? Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, you want to do a spending bill? Abso-fucking-lutely not. The only time I will allow spending to happen is if you're beefing up our border security. The Freedom Caucus is going to have so much fun for the next 2 years, okay? They're going to have so much fucking fun. It's literally the Freedom Caucus time, baby. They're going to be running the fucking show over there. Republicans are going to, first of all, get ready for government shutdowns. Okay? Get ready for government shutdowns. Okay? So get ready for that. It's their favorite thing to do. And they don't care. You know why? Because they already have they're already coming from districts that don't have working sewage. So it doesn't even fucking matter to them if the government shuts down. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Literally, Alabama District 7 or whatever the fuck, right? I just made it up. But it's like, who gives a fuck? He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Half of my constituency shit in the outhouse, I don't give a fuck.
We don't know the final numbers here, but we do know that they have at least 218 seats. That is the majority to take back the House. They may have up to 220. We'll see ultimately how many they have, but significant because once you have the majority in the U.S. House, you have the chairmanships and each of the key committees. That means you have subpoena power. You can set schedules for hearings. You can call cabinet secretaries to come.
I mean, clearly your best interest is hating America, so you hate the Republican Party, right? Wait, what? If my best interest is hating America, I would literally be more of a fan than the Republican Party than I would be of Osama bin Laden. Because if there's one force on this fucking planet that has been able to eviscerate American future prospects, it is the Republican Party. Democratic Party follows closely behind, trails closely behind the Republican Party. But goddamn, there is no more successful force in undermining all of the things that America could be doing and absolutely being just a fucking brutal force of evil for its own citizens than the Republican Party, okay? That's it. They're number one. They're number one and number two. Maybe the Democrats are number three. That's how good they are.
testify. You can do what your party wants to do. On the floor of the House, the Speaker of the House Majority Leader get to set the exact schedule, what they're going to bring to the floor, what they refuse to bring to the floor, and decide the priorities, which is why winning back one chamber of Congress will have significant ramifications.
Bro, they started off, they already started. We know. Immediately, the first thing that they did was start an investigation into Hunter Biden. LMFAO, my district's in the middle of bulldozing low-income housing to build a multi-million-dollar tennis facility so more rich people move here. Tell me again how Republicans support troops, many of whom who have to live in low-income housing. By the way, this is Nashville. I feel like it'll be news when actual evictions start next year. Oh, dude. Republicans will literally... You know how, like, there was a lie that, you know, people were spitting on the veterans that were coming back from Vietnam? Republicans would unironically spit on veterans, okay? They would, as they're on their way out from being evicted from their low-income housing, okay? These motherfuckers don't give a shit, okay? And neither do the Democrats, really. I mean, holy fuck.
For the next 2 years of the Biden administration.
Remember, they ran on inflation. What is the first thing that they do now that they have the House? Hunter Biden's cock. The fuck? What happened? I thought you guys wanted to control inflation. Isn't that what you guys were running on? No. No one thought that. Anyway, it doesn't even matter.
Well, the Democrats had control of the House and the Senate in the first 2 years under Joe Biden. They had the narrowest of majorities, 50-50 in the Senate. They had a handful of seats in the Democratic-led House. They were still able to do a significant amount of legislation by passing bills, for some significant bills, along straight party lines, because they could do that under the budget process that allowed them to pass something like a nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill. Also, that sweeping Inflation Reduction Act dealing with healthcare, climate change, taxes, and other issues. They will no longer be able to do that because in order to move through the budget process, you need to have support within, essentially, among your party, and Republicans and Democrats would not agree to move such sweeping legislation like that. So what does this mean for the next 2 years, Wolf? It means that any legislation that will pass almost certainly will be incremental. It will have to require a significant amount of consensus on both sides of the aisle. It would still need to surpass a 60-vote threshold in the Senate. Even as the Democrats are going to regain control of the Senate, they may have 51 seats, but they will still need 60 to pass anything. So what can actually get done in the next 2 years is an open question, but they will have major things to deal with next year, including raising the national debt ceiling to avoid a debt default next year, funding the government, always a tricky issue, something that could lead to a shutdown if there is not an agreement.
Oh, yeah. Dude, my Republican Tea Party caucus members, Freedom Caucus members, dicks are getting hard thinking about shutting down the government. They love shutting down the government, okay? It's their favorite fucking thing. They get so much attention. It's so fucking sick. They love that shit. They're going to be like, why are we shutting down the government right now? Oh, because Democrats wanted to, do a spending package that also featured, like, a clean water bill for literally their own constituents. Like, it could be like, literally, we're gonna do every house in Alabama finally gets a working toilet bill, and the fucking Tea Party motherfuckers would be like, nah, we like our own houses. We don't want the liberal way of life. Fatty government spending. Get the fuck out of here.
Between the two sides, but at the moment, the big pressure point for the administration will be those investigations into the Biden family, the border, the origins of the coronavirus, among a whole wide range of other issues, as a new dynamic here is now in Washington, Wolf.
Manu, I want you to stand by. Jeremy Diamond is over at the White House for us, watching all of this unfold as well. Major development right now. CNN projecting that the Republicans will win the majority in the House of Representatives. Jeremy, I assume officials over where you are at the White House were bracing for this.
No doubt about it, Wolf. This is a major inflection point in Joe Biden's presidency. For his first 2 years in office, he has enjoyed control of from a Democratic perspective, of both the House.
Yeah, he enjoyed it so hard. Remember when we had both the House and the Senate? That was so sick. When the Democrats were just, oh my God, they were spending. They were out there fucking going, money machine go brr. Oh, wait, that didn't fucking happen because the Democratic Party was cucked from within. Oh, that's surprising. Oh, man, that's cool. That's sick. That's so nothing really happened really in that period of time. Some things happened, but, you know, not nearly enough.
and the Senate. And for the first time in his presidency, Joe Biden is now staring down the barrel of divided government, of power sharing with Republicans in a way that he has not yet had to experience as president of the United States. And this is going to be a real test of one of the major things that he ran on during his 2020 campaign, which is this idea that he can perhaps be a bridge between the two parties. Right now, that appears to be the last thing that's going to happen. We know that Republicans are sharpening their investigative and oversight powers, that they are preparing to wield that subpoena power against the Biden administration on a number of fronts, investigations into everything from the withdrawal of Afghanistan to the Department.
They're going to fucking subpoena Joe Biden so much. Okay, they're going to subpoena Joe Biden and everyone in the administration, but so much that like he won't be able to literally like attend because it's like an impossible number of times. And then they'll say, look, this is just like when they yelled at Donald Trump for not attending, when the Democrats were yelling at Donald Trump. And then they're going to turn around and say, it's actually really fucked up when Joe Biden doesn't, follow through with the requests that we're making. But, Donald Trump did. Wait, what? Why'd you guys get yeeted? What happened?
Department of Homeland Security's handling of border security. Impeachment threats have been made both at the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Why did juicers get shut down?
Security as well as at the president himself. But to be clear, this is a White House that has been preparing for all of that for months now. And they are also looking at the fact that this is a House Republican majority that is going to be the narrowest majority in the House in decades. And so while they will still have to face the subpoena power of this House Republican majority, as slim as it may be, that does not change. There is a certain sentiment here at the White House, I can tell you in speaking with officials, Wolf, that they are giddy at the prospect of Kevin McCarthy having to wrangle this very narrow and oftentimes very rowdy Republican caucus to getting things done. But a number of challenges beyond the investigations that this White House now faces in terms of funding the government, addressing issues like the debt ceiling, for example. These are all things that President Biden was warning about on the midterm campaign trail over the last several months, and now it is a reality that he will have to confront. Lastly, Wolf, I would just add, President Biden, as much as he has experience with a number of Republicans on Capitol Hill, Kevin McCarthy is not one of them. And he is, of course, the most likely person to become the next Speaker of the House. And he's someone who President Biden...
Is all you do bash on Republicans? How whack? No, man. I fucking love Donald Trump. The only reason why I'm bashing on Republicans is because they don't love Donald Trump hard enough. How dare you don't understand, brother? Look at this. Look, would someone who bashes on Republicans have patriotic Santa right behind him? I know he's not white, but I know it is ethnic Santa, but also think about the MAGA hat. Yeah. I unbanned you because you're clearly a truth teller. You're just a little confused right now. It's okay.
Biden, while they spoke last week, they really have not had many dealings, Wolf, but you can be sure that they will have to speak much more going forward.
They certainly will. All right, Jeremy Diamond at the White House. Thank you very much. Jeff Zeleny, let's talk a little bit about this. The Senate, the Democrats will be the majority in the new Senate, right, but the Republicans...
Your mods seem a bit butthurt, Lamau. Yeah, they're just, they just don't want the truth to come out. That's what it is. But you obviously are a brave truth teller, so keep spitting your truth, my friend.
Will be the majority in the new...
What are you most excited about with the Republican majority in the House? I'll start. Hunter Biden's penis investigation is pretty cool. I think he's the most corrupt person in the White House. Hunter Biden is, because he is the real president. Joe Biden, he's old, he has no control over his bodily faculties. So, it's actually Hunter Biden that's running the show for the big guy, right? And actually, he's doing it at the behest of China and Ukraine, who seem to be on the opposing sides of a war that's being waged inside of Ukraine. But also at the same time, simultaneously, they're actually together undermining American authority. They are afraid of America's Riz, if you will.
House. Talk a little bit about that.
And it is a sea change here in Washington. It's coming a week after the midterm election, so it sounds like it's not quite as dramatic, but it actually will be in January when the Congress...
How come I see more chuds become leftists than radlibs? Because radlibs are fucking, like, incredibly, they have their heels dug in their ideology. Okay, that's why. Conservatives are oftentimes chuds or conservatives because they're just fucking stupid and they didn't really like learn anything else. Okay? Radlibs oftentimes are like educating themselves in a way to like they're like the fucking, it's like the difference between a regular racist American who hasn't really thought about shit too hard, and that's why he has this like racist opinion, versus someone who's like a Nazi, who's like done the reading. You know what I mean? Who wants to debate you in the marketplace of ideas, who wants to convert other people to his cause. You can change the minds of someone. You can change the mind of someone who's just been simply duped into believing certain things as a consequence of social conditioning. You can't change the minds of someone who's like, I saw the social conditioning. I have already, this is my ideology, and I'm doing the reading to make sure that this is like, you know, this is the ideology of others as well. This is the best way to live by. These are the best rules to live by.
Congress.
The Radlibs are Nazis? No. I'm saying they have like they have a well-defined worldview, even if it's wrong. They have a well-defined worldview, and they're, you know, they've done the reading. It's like hard for them to break away from that, no matter how inconsistent their worldview is.
Reconvenes in the new Congress, and even though the majority is slim, the oversight power will sting just as much to this White House in terms of really inspecting the spending that's been going on the COVID relief bills, really looking into, you know, where some of this infrastructure money is going, and calling in secretaries, you know, for the grilling that they will certainly give. So we're going to see a couple different things play out. Yes, there's going to be drama among House Republicans among themselves, but there's also going to be a sense of purpose about going after the Biden administration. Hunter Biden, the president's son, is already going to be front and center in some of these investigations. So that is one of the things that is going to happen. So even though it's a narrow majority, likely on the one hand of our finger, probably single digits for sure, maybe 5 seats, maybe 8 seats, but that does not mean that these committees won't have the investigative authority. But interestingly also, I think the House and the Senate, what can get done here? There was such a big message that was sent from voters to Washington that people want to get something done. So we heard Senator McConnell say that earlier. He actually hopes
Where's Hunter?
That they can find agreement on some things in the middle of the road here. We'll see about that. But it is a huge sea change in the new Congress next year.
You know, and Nia, I think one of the first things the Republican majority in the House probably will do is eliminate the January 6th Select Committee.
Oh, I think that's exactly right. I mean, it's as good as gone right now. And listen, that's why you saw the Democrats, when they were in control, do as much work as they did. And my goodness, they interviewed hundreds of witnesses and put on really...
Man, they did such a good job. Oh, no. I love that that's the primary concern here.
Compelling hearings. That is gone, and we'll see the reverse of that, right? We'll see investigations into the Biden administration, investigations into the Afghanistan withdrawal, and it'll be something that the Biden administration will have to deal with. Democrats say in some ways maybe that won't be a terrible thing, because it could show Republicans overreaching, right? Focusing on issues that don't necessarily benefit average Americans as they grapple with inflation and a tough economy. And does that make Biden sort of look like he's above?
No. That will just only make Biden look bad. There is a reason why there was a dramatic sea change within American politics in the McConnell era. Obstructionist policies in the Republican Party are literally received positively, more positively than bipartisan compromise. Okay? Mitch McConnell literally said, I'm going to make sure Barack Obama is a one-term president. And since then, anytime they've held on to a majority in either the House of Representatives or the Senate, it's always the same. Not an ounce of fucking compromise, with the exception of like this past cycle, where there was some compromise.
above it all and focusing on the sort of bread and butter issues that voters actually care about.
One of the other things they may investigate is the January 6th
that's right.
committee.
Sure. Yeah.
The Republicans have been complaining that they don't have access to all of these transcripts and interviews. I know one of the things the committee is dealing with right now is what do they release before they turn into a pumpkin and they're no longer in control. I want to add one other word, and that is Donald Trump. Because of the chaos we've been talking about in the Republican conference, because of the Freedom Caucus members, people like Matt Gaetz, who will blow something up just to blow something up, Donald Trump is going to have more power with the Republican conference because someone like Kevin McCarthy, as we were talking about earlier before, may need to reach out to him to say, help me get these guys in order.
He will do that.
We're going to see a lot of chaos.
Without a doubt, and it's already coming as a presidential campaign is already building. Usually it starts in the next year. Obviously, the events of last night are showing that it's starting right now. But I also think, though, it is still a moment for if there's a political middle, and the election does not leave much opportunity for that. But there is a demand in the country for both the House and the Senate to do something, and we are seeing that much more on the Senate side. So the synergies between both houses of Congress is going to be fascinating to watch. But the investigation, some things that they'll be looking at, and we heard a lot of talk about, is there going to be an impeachment inquiry for President Biden?
Right.
I would be very surprised in this case because the majority is so narrow. It just does not seem that there's room for that. But there is some substantive work, some very serious committee chairmen that really have some things to look into. So that is the biggest thing for the White House. But as Jeremy was saying earlier, the White House has been bracing for this. They've been hiring lawyers, advising agencies. So this is just how it works. And what is what usually happens in a midterm election. It's happening a week later, but is just as significant.